What's good, everybody? Seth, Juice and Beats, man. So for my last video, I touched a little on processed foods versus ultra processed foods. And now I kind of wanted to give a little more clarity on processed foods and ultra processed foods. We're going to call them UPFs. And, I was kind of asking myself, why do I want to do this? What's the big deal, right? Well, for the sake of your health, I think it's important for you to know and, to know the difference. And so let me explain. I was doing a little research, right? And I was finding that the USDA, and I quote, it says, anything that changes the fundamental nature of an agricultural product, for instance, like heating, freezing, dicing, juicing, is technically called processed. So, technically those pre-packed veggies that's in the bag that's been, pre-cut, like those broccolis, and they turn them into florets, or, the baby carrots that's been pre-peeled, ready to go and bagged, those are processed. And usually processed foods have gone through some type of minimal change, for instance, like the milk, for example, when it says pasteurized on it, on the box, that's a process. And, that was, approved by the FDA. It was a process. They remove the bacteria from the milk with the heat, they box it up and ship it. And, so processed foods are mostly designed to make it easier for us to quickly consume or, use as a safety measure, for the masses. But, you have, on the other hand, you have ultra processed foods. We'll call them UPS for short. But, these foods are a lot riskier and they go a lot further. It first started off from, like a term, they used it, about a decade ago. Nutritionists was using it as like a name to categorize snacks, drinks, like these ready to go meals, those TV dinners. Well, typically those things have very bad ingredients. They're packed with all these bad stuff, additives, preservatives, artificial flavors, refined grains, added sugars, unhealthy fats, seed oils, extreme amount of salt, sodium, really bad. And, I can go on and on and on with this dirty list. But what's interesting, as most of these foods we've been eating, we have to eat a lot of it, excessive amount to get our bellies full, and packing extreme amount of calories in every bite. These boxed and bagged products are intentionally designed by major corporations to look healthy, to taste good. Most of them are very cheap to buy, and they have a long shelf life to maximize the dollars. They don't prioritize our health. And what's interesting, these UPFs, they strip all the fiber, and they have a negative effect on your gut bacteria. And that's really important now. Through recent discoveries and research, doctors are finding out that, our gut microbiomes play a big part in living a healthy life. And, there's a growing epidemic of these preventable diet-related to chronic diseases such as cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, obesity, cancer, all this stuff. And UPS are half of the diet of adults in the US. A lot of us are eating like this, and I could imagine the kids, right? They probably eating a lot more than us. And understanding the difference of these foods helped me build a better foundation, a more solid foundation. It helped me heal. It helped me live a healthier lifestyle for the past 6 years. So, next, I want to go into the market. We're going to do a whole series about it. We'll go in there, we'll use some of the best practices that I use to shop, to live a more healthier life and just create more healthier options for us. And this will catapult our health and get us going in the right direction. So stay tuned. This is Seth from Juice and Beats, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.